Namaste Sannyasa family and everyone. A very warm welcome to all of you in this daily live meditation session with me, Dhyanse. We're meditating on 112 meditation techniques of Vigyan Bhairav Tantra. If you haven't known sex, how can you know God? Let me repeat. If you haven't known sex, how can you know God? Let us unfold the wisdom of Tantra and understand what that means. Tantra, if to be redefined, if to be given the right definition, we would say that it is a science of all inclusive. It takes all explorations as a means to reaching God, to enlightenment. It is not leaving anything, any aspect of life. It is all inclusive. So it is the most practical guide to enlightenment. If there would be, in a few words, definition required of Tantra, that would be the most practical guide to enlightenment. Because Tantra does not expect you to go somewhere. It does not say, like other traditions, like yoga or any other religion or any other traditions, that come to me, come to my monastery, that come to my tradition, come to my way of life. It never asks you to go somewhere. Rather, Tantra is so compassionate. It reaches to you. It reaches in your household. It reaches to your life just the way it is and utilizes every situation, every aspect of your life, transform that into a possibility of knowing God, into a possibility of enlightenment. And at the same time, Tantra talks about how to utilize sex and turning this into an opportunity of enlightenment. Yet Tantra is not sexual. Tantra is not an education on sex. If you're interested in that, then in ancient India, even that dimension was explored deeply in the form of Kama Sutra. Kama Sutra, the energy of Kama, the energy of sex. And there have been sutras in exploration of this energy of sex, how to bring utilizing this energy of sex, more pleasure, more of it in life. But Tantra is not about sex. Tantra is not describing sex. Rather, it is utilizing the opportunity, every aspect of life, including sex, as a way to enlightenment, as a way to Samadhi, as an exploration of God. But have you wondered why all other traditions are trying to take you away from sex, trying to suppress sex, trying to not talk about it? Even yoga, such a pious science, found its way avoiding talking about sex, found its way towards enlightenment, giving you a full system towards enlightenment, but leaving this dimension aside, keeping this dimension unexplored. Whereas Tantra goes in all directions because it is liberation of your energies, unfoldment of your consciousness in all directions. But think about it, why religion in the name of God is always finding a way around sex, is rather trying to condemn, suppress sex. Sex, such a basic, fundamental element, aspect of our life, and taken away the knowledge of it, the education of it, the sense of it is so condemned, so suppressed. Why? Think about it, why religion is pushing sex and the awareness of sex down. I can only say that sex is one of those aspects of life, if awareness is brought to that, it becomes a doorway to enlightenment. It becomes a doorway to consciousness. It becomes a doorway to God. So in the name of God, all religions somehow are avoiding this topic, not allowing you to come in contact with this vibration in the fear that you will be free, in the fear that you will know the real God that is there in you. And then what will religions do? If the substitute God is not needed anymore because you know the real God, you have found the real God in this aliveness, in this energy that you all carry in you. If you have discovered God there, you will not know, you will not do anything with this substitute God, and religion may lose its significance. Therefore, religion always tries to keep sex away from the equation, away from the conversations, so that you never know this energy that is there alive in you and the path through your own being. Let us listen to the technique that Bhairava gives in Vigyan Bhairav Tantra. Today's technique and a few more in this Vigyan Bhairav Tantra are related to utilizing sex as an opportunity to be in consciousness, to be in the state where you can reach God, where you can reach enlightenment. So let us listen, let us carefully understand what the technique is, what is the indication in the technique, and utilize this in our daily life. Bhairava says, if one remains attentive of the blissful mind between fire and ashes, then one experiences the greatest union. Let me repeat. If one remains attentive of the blissful mind between fire and ashes, then one experiences the greatest union. Several facets, several things that need to be understood in this technique, in this sutra from Vigyan Bhairav Tantra. The first, mind between fire and ashes. These are the two extremities that you have to become aware of, the fire and the ashes, and somewhere in between. So three aspects, remember, in the act of sex. The fire is the energy, is those moments where the sexual energy rises in you, is those moments where your entire body, your entire mind, your entire inner space is filled with the sexual energy. That fire is the moment to be aware of. If we see how we approach sex, it is absolutely the contrary. What we do in that rise of energy, we somewhere drown ourselves into the unconsciousness. Somehow that energy is so strong, the rise of energy is so strong that it takes over all consciousness, it takes over all awareness. But if you can be aware in that moment of fire, in that moment of the rise of energy before the sexual act, that is the moment where suddenly a door opens for you, and awareness opens for you which was never there. Because to be aware in the mundane, to be aware in the daily acts is one thing, but to be aware in the peak of energy, in the fire, is what opens the door to God, is what opens the door to higher consciousness. So as the energy rises in you, remain aware of that fire. And throughout the sexual act, throughout the process, if you can maintain the awareness until the ashes, until the energy has dissipated, everything is once again calm. If you can, even for once, even for one sexual act, you can remain aware from the fire to the ashes, from the beginning until the end, throughout the process, everything will change in your life. You will be completely transformed, and awareness will rise in you, will settle in you, will remain with you, which will remain forever with you, even if once throughout the process that you remain aware from the fire to the ashes. Then the second aspect of it is, then one experiences the greatest union. What is this greatest union? The greatest union which Tantra here is referring to is of Shiva and Shakti. As the energy rises in you, this rise of energy is the rise of Shakti. But there is absence of Shiva, there is absence of consciousness. So if you become aware of this physical act of from fire to the ashes, throughout the whole process, if you observe the whole process as a witness, then Shiva rises in you, and this greatest union between the Shakti, the energy, and the Shiva, the consciousness, when they two meet, when that union happens, that is the biggest union, that is the greatest union you can ever experience. The orgasm of the physical is one thing, but the orgasm of the Shiva and the Shakti meeting in you, the consciousness and the energy, the liberated energy and the unfolded, expanded consciousness, the Tan, the Tra. The Tantra, the expanded consciousness and the liberated energies, when they meet, that explosion, that fusion, that is the greatest union ever that you can experience. So the beginning of it is you becoming aware of this physical act of sex from the fire to the ashes. And you will see that how we approach this, not only you will have insight into your own awareness, but you will have insight into the whole act, what you have been doing for all these 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years, where the body is meeting and the mind is somewhere else. Between the two, there is only meeting of the body, and the mind is somewhere repressed, suppressed in one's own imagination in two different worlds. Only the body is meeting. So if you observe yourself, if you're aware in the whole act from the fire to the ashes, you will see that the entire act is so fragmented, where only the body is meeting, the minds are somewhere else. If the minds are meeting, they're meeting somehow to express the suppression, to express the emotion that has been deeply suppressed or somehow taken shape in life, where there is only meeting in those perverted set of expressions of the mind. See that the meeting happens on the body, the meeting not only remains of the mind, but the meeting also of the breath. Unless the breath, it flows together, unless the body flows together, unless the mind flows without suppression together, unless the breath flows together, there is no way of meeting of the energies. This can only be known if you observe from fire to ashes. Even once, if you are fully aware of the process from the fire to the ashes, not only the physical will improve, not only the physical is going to change forever, you're going to see the whole fragmented process that is going on in front of you as a witness, but also that awareness will lead to integration of the body, of the mind, of the breath, of the energies, thereby leading you to the higher, where in that awareness, in that consciousness, you are open to this union of Shiva and Shakti. That is one facet of this, which is in the sexual act. The second facet of this sutra, which applies to any form of potency, any form of energy in your life, is from the manifestation of the will to the knowledge. Understand this, it's somewhat different from the sexual act, but the underlying principle is the same, that the energy rises, the will, the desire in you to do anything in life, to know anything in life rises, And then when you know it, when the desire is fulfilled, then there is this knowledge, there is this state where there is fulfillment, there is satisfaction. If you remain aware from the rise of the desire to the fulfillment of the desire, from the rise of the will to the knowledge what the will is asking for. As an example, if you're hungry, the rise of hunger, how strong that hunger is, and once that hunger is fulfilled with the food that you're eating. If you can remain aware of this potency that rises in you, the fire that rises in you, and as it settles, the ashes, the calm after the fulfillment, if you can remain aware of this entire slope, from the rise to the slope to the valley, if you can remain aware of that in every aspect of your life, again, a possibility of transformation. Tantra gives you all possibilities in which you can transform, you can convert every act of your life into a meditative act, into a possibility to reach God. How to do this technique in the next few minutes? You will simply close your eyes, be aware of your thoughts, of the rise and fall of whatever is rising in your consciousness. Mostly these are thoughts, there could be emotions, there could be energies rising and falling, sensations rising and falling. Anything that rises and reaches to its climax and falls in your inner space, you will remain aware of that one single thing throughout the process. A thought arises, you will follow the thought. You will rise along with the thought. You will not be identified with the thought, but you will observe the thought carefully, where this is rising from, the peak, the energy it carries to take all your awareness away, to make you completely distracted with that. Observe that, this energy of the thought that is holding you, and slowly you will see it will go somewhere, it will disappear into nothingness, and follow along and disappear along with it. Follow with your awareness. Let us close our eyes and take these next moments to observe the inner space, the rise of fire turning into ashes in our inner space. Please close your eyes and take a posture that is comfortable for you, with your body relaxed, your head, neck and back aligned. Attentive yet relaxed. Awareness inwards, towards your inner space, and simply observing the rise of fire turning into ashes. In your inner space, a thought, an emotion, a sensation, even a physical sensation, anything that rises become aware of the fire of reaching its peak and disappearing, turning into ashes. Observe yourself caught up in the thought, caught up in the emotion, in the fire of the energy. No suppression, not trying to change anything, simply observing yourself caught in the fire, turning into ashes. Don't force anything, not even silence. Allow the silence to arise, the calm to arise on its own. After the fire is turned into ashes. In this awareness, in this silence, allow the awareness in silence to meet, merge. Allow the consciousness and the energy to meet and merge in union. No more rise and fall. Stay in this silence. the inner union of Shiva and Shakti, of consciousness and energy, of awareness and silence. Stay in this union. And the ashes. Very gently and slowly, you may open your eyes. Maintaining this inner union of awareness and silence, of consciousness and your energies. And take this union, this harmony, this orgasm of this harmony, of this union to your daily life in every aspect of your life. If you were touched by this experience, if you wish to explore more on this spiritual journey beyond only a few ways here and there, you're more than welcome to join our community of meditators who are coming for their love, for their truth, for the connection that we all share in this space of silence and awareness. If you resonate to that, you're more than welcome to join this community of meditators. Please write me an email with your introduction, with your calling of the community, and what can you give back to the community. Thank you very much. Namaste.